Guess what, baby girl? That lifestyle working out, a man, a provider, you just get to sit at home, bake bread every day, slim to none.
I'm cringing at this lame, half-baked attack on stay-at-home moms. Normally, when some influencer posts a video that I find annoying and I feel the need to respond to it, I save it for the daily cancellation segment at the end of the show. The top of the show, I try to reserve for newsier subjects, but that's not a hard and fast rule. Plus, it's Friday, and I don't really feel like talking about newsy things. So today, we're going to begin with a video from an allegedly conservative influencer named Emily Wilson. And what makes this video relevant, aside from the fact that it just annoys me a lot, is that it echoes a message that we've been hearing with increasing frequency from women on the right with, in some cases, very large platforms. Now, Emily's platform isn't very large, but it is sizable enough. She has 500,000 followers on Instagram. I'm sure she's a nice person. I don't know her personally, and I have no issue with her. But she represents a growing, or if not growing, then at least increasingly evident problem on the right. And the problem, in a word, is feminism. Feminism is not compatible with any meaningful definition of conservatism. Whatever conservatism is trying to conserve, like marriage, the family, Western civilization itself, feminism militates against. And yet many feminists have become mouthpieces in the movement and are accepted as such as long as they, wear a MAGA hat and say that they don't like illegal immigration or whatever. So with that in mind, let's listen to just the latest submission to this ever-expanding conservative feminist genre. Here it is.
Hate to call out my own party, but the young girls on the right promoting this like trad wife. I just want to make sourdough for my husband. That's great. I'm all for it. I promote traditional values. I understand. I have been working since I was very young. I don't really plan on stopping working. I suggest you find a hobby that makes you money. But you guys, guess what? Guess what, baby girl? That lifestyle working out, a man, a provider, you just get to sit at home, bake bread every day, slim to none. I would say none that's going to work out for you or quite literally anyone you know. You're actually setting yourself up for failure because it could not be easier, if that's what you're going to pursue, to be trapped by a man. Okay? Also, let's bring some other things to the table besides sourdough. Guys want to be mentally stimulated as well as physical, okay? But I'm just like, please, you guys are too young to be promoting this. And also, by the way, it's cringe.
Well, yes, Emily, I am cringing, but not because of the trad wives. I'm cringing at this lame, half-baked attack on stay-at-home moms, and I'm cringing even more at the fact that women with these kinds of views are still embraced as conservative. Now, try to imagine the opposite of this. Imagine a left-wing influencer who advocates for every left-wing policy under the sun, but then comes out one day and says, you know what? I think a woman's proper place is in the home, raising her children. Now, it's impossible to conceive of any left-wing woman ever saying anything like that. And if she did, she would be immediately excised from the movement. And that's because leftists understand that supporting so-called traditional gender roles is fundamentally antithetical to their worldview. You literally cannot be a leftist and hold that view. So the same is logically true in the reverse. Attacking, so-called gender roles is a fundamentally leftist thing, which means you cannot be conservative if you hold fundamentally leftist views. Now, you have every right to express those views and to hold them, but you should not be embraced as a conservative, much less listened to as a spokeswoman for the movement. Now, let's go through some of the specifics here. Emily says that a woman should have a job and her own income so that she is not, quote unquote, trapped by a man. She envisions, the relationship between husband and wife as this inherently competitive thing. Marriage is a zero-sum game where both husband and wife are competing for control. Again, this is a fundamentally leftist conception. It is a recipe for divorce. I mean, there's nothing in and of itself wrong with a wife earning money. As I've conceded many times, a family may feel that they need two incomes in order to survive. They may want a second income. The wife might have a job that doesn't require leaving the house and going to an office every day. But if she's earning money as an escape hatch because she doesn't want to be trapped, that is a very bad sign. And if you want to understand why it's a bad sign, just imagine how it would sound if a man adopted this philosophy. There was a woman on X who commented yesterday as we were talking about this that a wife needs a, quote, backup in case their man can't fulfill his providing roles. Well, what if a man decided to have a backup in case his woman didn't fulfill her wifely duties? Most people would find that objectionable for good reason. The whole point of marriage is that you're devoting yourself entirely to your spouse to become one flesh. It's not possible to make that level of commitment while at the same time actively building yourself a little nest egg just in case you want to leave. Saying the vows and pledging yourself to your betrothed means not having an exit plan. It means you burn the boats like Cortez and turn towards the wilderness and journey in it together, come what may. That's the only way that it works. Now, she also says that men want to be mentally stimulated, and the implication is that stay-at-home moms are too stupid to provide that sort of stimulation because all they think about is their sourdough bread. This is absurdly dismissive and insulting to millions of good, godly, intelligent women who, while staying home with their children, are also capable of having intelligent conversations with their husbands. It also assumes that a woman who sits in a cubicle all day will somehow have more interesting things to say to her husband at the end of the day. But, having a job as a woman does not make you smart or interesting. I hate to break it to the working women of the world, but your husband is almost certainly not intellectually stimulated by your job or your stories about your job. In fact, if he was able to choose between listening to a story about your office drama or listening to a story about what you did with the kids that day, he would prefer to hear about the latter. Like, definitely. And this is the sort of thing you would know about men if you listen to them when they try to tell you what they want instead of declaring what you think they should want. But the biggest problem and the objection that you hear most often from these feminist types is the claim that somehow the stay-at-home mom arrangement is implausible or even impossible. She declares that your chances of finding a man who can provide for you while you stay home and raise the children, that those chances are slim to none. Actually none, she says. There is no chance that it will work out for you. There's no chance that it will work out for you or anyone you know. And yet that's weird because it has worked out for countless people. It worked out for my wife. It worked out for many families that I know personally. It worked out for billions of humans across the globe and through history since the dawn of civilization. So Emily has written off the most normal and historically common practice as not just difficult, but according to her, literally impossible. And not just impossible, but also absurd and grotesque. And, there's a lot of this kind of thing going around, of course. During my conversation with Tucker Carlson this week, we talked about the issue of, gender roles in marriage. We also talked about right at the top of the interview, the absurdity of gay adoption and gay parenthood. Here's a clip of that exchange that Tucker's team posted last night. Here it is.
Gay adoption. This isn't the only argument against it, but I think it is a worthwhile argument. There's never been a society anywhere on earth, anywhere period, where they have had two men in a romantic relationship starting a family. That's never existed. It's always been a man and a woman start a family, or in certain ancient civilizations and even some primitive ones today, you might have a man and several women. You might have polygamy.
That's a pretty common feature, I would say. Around
certainly common. Yeah. But you never had, and why do you have polygamy? I don't support polygamy, but there was a logic to it, especially in ancient times.
Yes.
You got to create people. And the whole point of the family is to make children and care for them. A family that's headed up by two gay men it's an abomination. It
never happened before, and now it's happening, and that's why we call it progress, right? This is progress. It's something that's never been done.
Yeah. It's progress in the way that cancer progresses.
Now, plenty of people on the right or right adjacent, I guess, took great exception to this. Glenn Greenwald is one of them. He tweeted in response, "One has to be morally deranged or totally ignorant of the grim realities of kids lingering without parents in orphanages, shelters, and foster care, only to be expelled at 18 with no support, to believe that dark hell is better for kids than being adopted by gay couples." Morally deranged, he says. The view that two men should not be allowed to adopt children, that was held by nearly everyone in this country and everyone across the world until very recently, Barack Obama was against gay adoption when he first ran for president. So was every other elected Democrat, pretty much. Any elected Democrat over the age of 50 was probably at one point opposed to both gay marriage and gay adoption. In fact, gay adoption was so obviously wrong to so many people for so long that it wasn't even discussed. It wasn't debated. It was just intuitively understood that children need a mother and a father. We're not going to let two men adopt children for the same reason that we wouldn't let a, polyamorous polycule adopt a child. Children need a mother and a father. We are not going to deliberately put a child into a disordered environment where he is not only deprived of a mother or a father, but where the role of a mother or father has been replaced in an unnatural and confusing way. Now, this was always understood. And now, in the blink of an eye, what was always understood is morally deranged. The thing that everybody believed forever until approximately last Tuesday is not just wrong, we're told, but shocking, upsetting, baffling. This is the game that's played, and I, for one, am entirely sick of it. I've always been sick of it. Now, look, not everything that is old or traditional is automatically good, of course. Slavery is old and traditional and still practiced in non-Western countries today. It's also very bad. But there are basic truths about how human society is fundamentally structured. And these are truths that have withstood the test of time. These are truths that have, while civilization held fast to them, have allowed it to flourish and advance in remarkable and seemingly miraculous ways. Truths that, minutes after our society abandoned them, immediately led to decline and chaos and confusion. And one of those truths is that a child needs a mother and a father. Only a man and a woman can have a baby or should have a baby. And another one of those truths is that men and women are different and so have different roles in the home and in society. This was an idea so basic that there wasn't even a term for it. We only started labeling it gender roles at the moment that we decided to abandon it. And I would say that the results of that decision have not been good. Divorce, broken homes, declining birth rates, 60 million dead babies, and those are just the early returns, really. And that's why we cannot be embarrassed to hold to a system that is ancient and timeless and proven, tested, vindicated by the testimony of our ancestors and by thousands of years of human experience beyond that. As conservatives, if that is not worth conserving, then nothing is. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.